The stars were quiet. The darkness of space stretched forever, and in that silence 2 fleets faced each other. The alien ships were larger, stronger and brighter. They moved like predators, shining with deadly energy. The humans came with smaller ships, old metal and weaker shields. The difference was clear to everyone who was watching. The aliens laughed. Their voices filled the communication lines, calling the humans weak, calling them fools for even entering the battlefield. The alien commander sat on his massive throne inside his warship. His eyes glowing with pride, he looked at the human fleet and sneered. To him it was nothing more than insects waiting to be crushed. He spoke with laughter. "Inferior humans, you dare to stand against us? Today we will burn your fragile toys and show the galaxy that your kind belongs only on the dirt of your little planet." His fleet echoed his words with cruel joy. The humans did not answer. Their ships floated calmly. Their captains waited. Their crews held their breath. The alien laughter grew louder. Mocking every silence, the galaxy listened. Many other species were watching through hidden transmissions, and they also laughed. They believed the humans were nothing. They believed the battle was already over. But inside the human command ship, Admiral Kane stood tall, his face hard, his eyes locked on the massive alien fleet. He heard the insults, he heard the laughter, but he stayed calm. He knew something the aliens did not. His voice was steady as he spoke to his captains. "Hold formation. Do not reply to their mockery. Let them think we are weak. Let them believe they already won. Time is on our side." His words spread across the human fleet, giving courage to tired hearts. The alien warships moved closer. Their engines roared across the silence of space. Weapons armed, energy spikes glowing. And still the humans stayed silent, their ships small and humble. Their guns weaker, their armor thin. The aliens grew louder. "Look at their fear. Look at their silence. They shake before us. This is no war. This is mercy." Their voices were cruel, their tone sharp, but the humans did not answer. The first moments passed in heavy silence. Every crew member on the human side felt the weight of the alien mockery. Some clenched their fists. Some whispered prayers. But all obeyed the order of Admiral Kane. No answer, no attack, only patience. The alien commander grew bored of the silence. He wanted screams. He wanted humans to beg. He leaned forward in his throne and raised his hand. His fleet prepared weapons, and then he gave the order. Fire! Explosions of energy lit the void. Beams of alien weapons rushed toward the small human ships. Shields cracked, armor bent, fire spread across the blackness. Human ships shook under the assault. Still they did not break. One ship fell, its wreck burning silently in the cold vacuum, but the others held their line. The alien commander laughed again. "Look how they crumble. Look how they die without a word." But his smile faded slightly when he saw the human formation remain steady. Even after the first barrage, they did not scatter. They did not run. They stayed, their engines humming in cold silence. Inside one human ship, a young officer gripped the edge of his console, his voice shaky. "Admiral, why are we not striking back? We are being torn apart." The Admiral's voice came calm, deep and unbroken. "Because they are not yet afraid. Because they do not yet see. Wait, hold the line." The aliens fired again. Another wave of destruction tore across the battlefield. The humans moved slightly, adjusting, absorbing the storm. Another ship burned, another life lost, yet the human fleet still stood. The aliens were surprised. It was not expected. These fragile ships should have shattered, but they resisted. The alien commander narrowed his eyes. For the first time, doubt touched his mind. "Why do they not fall? Why do they not beg?" he asked himself. His crew whispered too, some uneasy, but he silenced them with a roar. "They are insects. They will break soon. Fire again." The battle was only beginning, but already the galaxy could feel a strange change. Humans were supposed to fall easily, but they did not. The alien mockery still filled the air, but underneath it a thin thread of fear began to grow. Hidden, silent, waiting to rise in the human fleet. Admiral Kane looked at the stars beyond the battlefield. His lips pressed into a line. He whispered softly to himself, words no alien could hear. "Laugh now, call us weak, call us inferior. For soon you will learn why humanity never bows." His voice carried through the command deck, and the crew who heard him stood straighter. Hope flickered in their eyes. The alien laughter still echoed, but it did not sound as strong as before. The silence of the humans was not weakness, it was waiting. It was patience. It was the calm before something far greater. And in the cold dark of space, destiny was beginning to turn. The aliens mocked, the humans endured, but the battlefield had already chosen its secret. The game was not over. It was only just beginning, and the universe itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the shadow that had not yet arrived, waiting for the truth hidden behind the silence, waiting for the storm that was coming. The alien armada spread across the stars like a storm, their warships glowing with deadly energy, their formations sharp and flawless. From a distance they looked like a wall of fire ready to crush anything that dared stand against them. In front of this endless wave of power, the human fleet looked small, fragile and broken. Their ships were older, their engines weaker, and their hulls scarred from past battles. The alien commander sat in his towering chair of steel, his eyes filled with cruel pride. "Look at them," he said to his officers, a flock of dying birds trying to face the storm. "They are waiting for death." His crew laughed, their voices cold and mocking. The sound carried through communication channels, letting the humans hear every insult. The humans remained silent, their ships floating with calm discipline. Admiral Kane stood at the center of his command deck, his face stern, his voice steady. "Hold formation. No movement unless I give the order." His captains nodded, though many of their crews whispered doubts. The alien fleet was too large, too strong, too confident. Yet Kane's eyes held a quiet fire, a secret he had not shared. The battlefield trembled as the alien warships advanced, engines roaring like thunder in the emptiness of space. Every second brought them closer. Every second increased the weight on the human fleet. Alien voices mocked again. "Do you see how they freeze? They are afraid. They know they cannot win." But then, something subtle happened across the human ships. Small signals flickered. Silent pulses sent through encrypted channels. Too faint for alien sensors to notice. It was not panic, it was not fear. It was coordination, hidden and deliberate. The humans were talking in a language only they understood. One young human pilot inside a small frigate asked his captain, "Why do we not fight back? Why are we waiting?" The captain's reply was calm but mysterious. "Because the admiral told us to wait, and when the admiral waits, it means the enemy will soon regret their laughter." The aliens prepared their next strike. But in their sensors a strange ripple appeared. It was faint, like a shadow moving across the edge of the battlefield. It flickered for only a second and then vanished. The alien commander frowned. What was that? His officers shook their heads. Nothing, just interference. Humans do not have technology to hide ships. The commander's face relaxed, but unease stayed in his heart. The humans noticed it too. The radar operator inside the command ship whispered, "Admiral, the signal is clear. The first shadow is moving into place." Kane gave a short nod, his voice low. "Good, maintain silence. Do not reveal our hand yet," his crew obeyed, though their hearts raced with both fear and excitement. As the alien fleet moved closer, the stars seemed to vanish behind their endless numbers. Their warships covered the horizon, their weapons glowed with power, their laughter returned. Soon they will scatter, soon they will burn. Inferior humans cannot stand before the storm. Their arrogance filled the void. But deep inside the human fleet, patience grew stronger. The crews held the line. Every second that passed was heavy with tension. Every second that passed was part of the Admiral's secret plan. The alien commander grew impatient. He wanted to crush the humans quickly. He wanted to show the galaxy how weak they truly were. "Fire at their center line," he ordered, and a wave of destruction shot forward. Beams of plasma and energy ripped through the void. Explosions tore across human ships, shields cracked, armor bent. Flames danced in the dark. Yet even through the storm, the humans did not break. They moved with small adjustments, protecting their weaker ships. Their formation still held. The alien commander scowled. "Why do they not fall? Why do they still stand?" he demanded inside his warship. An alien officer whispered, "Commander, their silence feels strange. They fight without noise, without cries. They are waiting for something." The commander silenced him with rage. "They are waiting for death," he shouted. But in his heart a tiny spark of doubt began to grow. On the human side, Admiral Kane studied the stars beyond the alien fleet. His eyes narrow, his voice soft. "Not yet, Hold, let them laugh. Let them believe," his crew trusted him. Their fear turned slowly into focus. The galaxy watched from hidden corners. Species across distant worlds followed the battle through transmissions. Many laughed at the humans. Many believed it was hopeless, but a few, just a few, noticed the strange discipline of the human fleet. They whispered among themselves, "Why do they not fall apart? Why do they still hold the line?" And then the shadow returned, stronger this time, flickering across alien sensors, vanishing again before they could lock on. The alien commander clenched his fists. "Find it! Find what that is," his officers scrambled. But there was nothing, just empty space, or so they thought. The humans knew the truth. They knew what the aliens could not see. Kane's lips curved into the smallest smile. "The stage is being prepared," he whispered. His words carried across the command deck, filling his crew with hidden strength. The alien laughter echoed once more, but it no longer sounded as fearless as before. There was a hesitation, a thin line of uncertainty inside it. The humans remained silent, and in that silence, suspense grew heavier than any weapon. The battlefield itself seemed to hold its breath. The alien commander leaned forward, his eyes burning with fury. "End this, destroy them all," he ordered. His warships powered up for another deadly strike, but far beyond their sight. In the darkness of the stars, something vast was moving, something the aliens had not yet seen, something that would change the battle forever. The humans knew it, the Admiral knew it, the galaxy would soon know it. The laughter of the aliens was about to meet silence, and then fear for the battlefield was no longer theirs alone. Something greater was coming, and it was coming fast. The alien fleet moved like a living storm, their warships circling the humans with cruel precision. The silence of space was broken again as the alien commander gave the order. "Crush them, let their screams fill the stars." Weapons powered up. Plasma beams charged, and the void lit with fire. Human ships shook under the first assault. Hulls cracked, flames burst in the darkness, and explosions echoed like thunder in the endless night. One human frigate was torn apart, breaking into pieces, its crew gone in seconds. The aliens roared with laughter, their voices filled with pride. "See, they fall like dust. They cannot stand against us." The alien commander leaned back in his throne, certain of victory, but then something unexpected happened. The human fleet did not scatter. They did not run. They held the line, battered and burning, but still holding. Their formation was tighter than before. Their captains spoke calm words to their crews. "Hold, stay strong. Follow the Admiral." Their voices steady even as death passed inches away. Admiral Kane stood tall in his command deck, the light of fires reflecting in his sharp eyes, his voice calm. "Maintain position, shields to maximum, engines steady. Let them believe they are winning. Every second we stand, we steal their confidence." His crew obeyed, their fear replaced slowly with determination. The alien commander frowned. His laughter faded for a moment. He had expected humans to scatter like prey, yet they resisted. They stood firm. He slammed his clawed hand on the armrest. "Increase fire, break their line, make them run." Another storm of plasma tore through the void. Another human ship exploded. Yet the fleet stayed in place, smaller now but unbroken. Then it happened. A flash in the dark. A sudden explosion rocked the alien formation. One of their warships, massive and powerful, burst into flames, its hull splitting apart, its crew silenced in seconds. The alien commander rose from his throne in rage. "What? How?" His officers scrambled. "Commander, we do not know. There was no clear shot. No human ship fired." Confusion spread across the alien bridge. Admiral Kane's lips curved into a thin smile, his voice low. "Good. The shadows are awake." His crew exchanged looks of awe and relief. They knew the plan was moving forward. The hidden pieces of the battle were now in play. The aliens scanned the area. Searching for the source, their radars flickered. Sensors screamed, but nothing appeared. "It must be a trick," the commander growled. "It must be sabotage. These humans cannot destroy our ships so easily." But even as he spoke, another alien warship suddenly collapsed in flames, its engines ripped apart by an invisible strike. Panic began to whisper across the alien fleet, voices once mocking, now uncertain. "Commander, their weapons are not this strong." "How is this possible?" the commander shouted in fury. "Silence! Keep firing! Crush them before they strike again." Human crews felt a spark of hope. They saw the mighty alien ships burning, and courage filled their hearts. One young pilot whispered, "We can fight them. We can win." His captain nodded. "Follow the Admiral. Trust the plan." The battlefield grew tense. Alien weapons rained fire. Human ships burned. But now alien ships also fell. Shadows moved in the darkness, unseen by alien eyes, striking without warning. Kane's secret was revealed to his closest officers. Hidden stealth ships, human creations built in silence, waiting for this very day. They were few, but their strikes were deadly, precise, and unstoppable. The alien commander roared in fury as another of his ships broke apart. "Find them! Find these ghosts!" But his officers could not. Their sensors found nothing but empty space. It was as if death itself was walking unseen through the battlefield. Admiral Kane gave new orders. His voice calm but sharp. Frigates, hold formation. Cruisers, prepare to counter. Shadows strike again and vanish. Do not reveal your positions. His fleet moved like a quiet storm, weaker in number but stronger in will. Another alien ship burst into flames. The laughter that once filled the comms was gone, replaced by angry shouts, confused voices, and nervous whispers. The galaxy watched in shock. What was supposed to be a quick slaughter was turning into a strange battle. A battle where humans, mocked and called inferior, were standing against giants. The alien commander clenched his teeth, his voice sharp. If they think shadows will save them, they are wrong. Prepare the flagship cannons. We will erase them all in one strike. His warship glowed with deadly energy, massive cannons aimed at the human fleet. On the human side, Admiral Kane's eyes narrowed, his voice quiet but powerful. The flagship moves, the storm is ready to break, but we are not finished. Hold, just hold. His words gave strength to the weary crews. They believed even as their ships burned around them. The alien fleet prepared its massive strike, power building like a sun ready to explode. The commander grinned again, certain this would end the human resistance. But in the shadows of space, something even greater stirred, something the aliens could not yet see. The humans fought on, patient and calm, their silence now heavier than the alien roars. Every second brought them closer to the truth. Every second carried the battlefield closer to a moment that would shake the galaxy. The aliens still believed victory was theirs. But the cracks in their pride were growing. The humans had not broken. They had not begged. They had not surrendered. They had endured. And now the storm of shadows had shown its first strikes. The battle was far from over, but the first fire had already revealed a secret. Humanity was not what the galaxy thought, and soon, even the alien commander would understand the price of mockery, for the battlefield itself was beginning to change, and the humans were no longer the only ones holding their breath. The galaxy too began to wait, trembling for what was coming next. The battlefield burned like a dying star. Wreckage floated between the two fleets, and the silence after each explosion felt heavier than the blasts themselves. The alien fleet had begun with laughter, but now those voices were fading, replaced by confusion and unease. Ships that were supposed to be indestructible had vanished in flashes of fire. No one saw what hit them. No one understood how. Admiral Kane stood at the center of his ship, hands behind his back, watching every flicker on the holographic map. His fleet had lost ships, yes, but they still stood, still held the line, and now the enemy was no longer smiling. That was the moment he had been waiting for. Not just survival, but doubt, fear, hesitation inside the enemy's heart. Shadow units repositioned to Grid 6. Change frequency, no patterns, Kane said calmly. The communication officer nodded and sent the signal. Across the dark of space, cloaked human vessels shifted silently, like ghosts moving through a graveyard. The alien sensors remained blind inside the alien flagship. The commander paced with rising anger. 3 more ships lost and still no trace of the attacker. How is this possible? His officers looked at their screens, sweating despite the cold metal walls. Commander, they're using something we've never seen. No energy trail, no heat signature. It's like they're invisible. The commander's claws clenched. No one is invisible. Increase scan range. Bring in the drone swarm. I want the shadows hunted down. Small scanning drones were launched from the alien fleet. Hundreds of silver eyes moving across the battlefield. Looking for the silent killers, they scanned every piece of wreckage, every corner of empty space, but the shadows stayed hidden. Waiting patiently, meanwhile, the human fleet began to move. Not fast, not wild, just enough to shift the line, enough to confuse the enemy's aim. Admiral Kane's plan was unfolding step by step. The aliens had size and firepower, but humans had patience and precision. One of the human captains, a woman named Reyes, looked at her cracked screen. We're being pushed again. Admiral, she said through the comms. Kane's voice came back steady. That's what they think. Hold your line, fire in rotation, and watch for the next signal. Her ship was missing half a wing. Smoke filled the air inside, but her voice was strong. She understood now. Every second they survived made the aliens weaker, not stronger. Back on the alien flagship, the commander received the first reports from the drones. Still nothing, his officer said. Not a trace. The commander stared at the screen in silence, and then whispered, "What are you hiding, humans? What are you hiding?" Then, out of nowhere, another alien ship exploded. This one was deep within the formation, Surrounded by dozens of allies, it vanished in a single burst. Not even a warning alarm had time to sound. The alien commander's eyes went wide. "They're inside the formation," he growled, his mind now racing, fear mixing with rage. "Pull the rear ships forward, collapse the line," he ordered. "We can't let them strike from within." The fleet moved quickly, but with every shift their perfect formation broke more and more. Cracks appeared between units, coordination suffered. Admiral Kane saw it all on his screen. His calm face gave nothing away, but inside he knew the moment was near. The aliens were unraveling, not from his weapons but from their own fear. "Begin phase 2, he said, and across the human fleet coded lights blinked. Quiet engines powered up and small, fast ships launched from hidden ports. They weren't designed to fight head-on. They were built for confusion, for chaos, for sabotage. They raced toward the enemy in silence, slipping through the growing gaps in the alien wall. The aliens didn't see them until it was too late. Alarms blared as human raider ships dropped magnetic bombs on enemy hulls, cutting cables, blinding sensors, jamming comms within minutes. The alien fleet was no longer a single unit, but scattered pieces screaming into the void. The alien commander's voice echoed across all channels. "Regroup, hold position, crush them now." But no one answered. Static and broken screams were all he heard. One of his officers turned to him, face pale. "They've fractured our network. We've lost connection with 20 ships. And another 10 have gone dark." The commander slammed his fist into the console. Sparks flew. "How can this be? They're nothing." "They're insects," but deep inside he knew the truth. This was not luck. This was not desperation. This was strategy. The humans were doing exactly what he never believed they could. Winning. From the human command ship, Admiral Kane watched the chaos unfold. "They've taken the bait," he said softly. "Now they try to pull back, but they're blind. They don't know where we'll strike next," and then a new signal appeared on the human screen, far away but approaching fast. A massive shape moving through the dark, still hidden but growing closer. Kane turned to his crew. "Time to prepare them," he said. "Begin final countdown. The mothership will arrive soon." The bridge grew silent. Even the sound of machinery felt quieter. The mothership, Earth's final answer, was nearly here. Out in the darkness, the alien commander stared at his burning fleet, his confidence shaken, his power fading, and for the first time since the battle began, he said nothing. The battlefield was no longer his playground. The humans had stolen the silence, twisted it into a weapon, and the storm was only just beginning. The real battle had not yet started, but it was coming fast, carried on the wings of something far more terrifying than shadows, something the aliens could never prepare for. And when it arrived, no one would laugh again. The stars began to dim as if space itself was holding its breath. In the middle of a torn battlefield, fire and silence danced together. The alien fleet, once proud and perfect, now floated in broken shapes. Ships flickered with damaged systems. Some drifted without power. Others spun uncontrollably through the debris of their fallen brothers. The humans had not won yet, but they had done the unthinkable. They had survived, and more than that, they had made the enemy bleed. But the battlefield was about to change again. Far from the line of fire, hidden behind dust clouds and radiation fields, something enormous was moving, slow, silent, but unstoppable. Inside the alien flagship, the commander paced, no longer shouting, his face carved in stone. "They use shadows to hide, they strike and vanish. Like rats in the dark," he growled. "But rats don't destroy warships." His officers said nothing, afraid to speak, afraid to admit what they were all thinking. "Commander," one of them whispered, "we are detecting—" Something long-range scanners show a massive object entering the outer field. The commander turned sharply. "Another fleet." The officer shook his head. "No, not a fleet. One ship." Silence dropped over the bridge like a falling stone. One ship, but bigger than anything on their records. Slow, distant, but growing clearer with every scan. At the same time, aboard the human command ship, Admiral Kane stood facing a dark screen. He waited, his eyes locked on the silent void, until finally a soft beep broke the quiet. The screen lit up with a shape, huge, wide, monstrous in design, and completely silent. "The mothership has arrived," the officer said with awe. Kane nodded once, not smiling, just focused. "Let the enemy see her," he said all across the battlefield. Human ships powered up their signal beams, directing light and communication toward the oncoming shadow. The alien fleet turned to see what the humans were doing. Confusion turning to curiosity, curiosity to dread. Then it appeared, slowly pushing through the debris field like a giant rising from deep water. The mothership, dark gray and smooth, its surface glowing with soft blue light. Bigger than any ship the aliens had ever seen. Longer than a city. Taller than a tower. The alien crew stared in silence. Voices caught in their throats. No one spoke, no one laughed. On board the alien flagship, the commander stepped toward the main screen, his face pale now. What is that? No one had the answer. No one could believe what they were seeing. The humans had hidden this thing, this behemoth. While they fought with scrap metal and old ships, this was not a ship, it was a message. And the message was clear: you laughed too soon. Admiral Kane opened a channel not for words but for presence. The mothership sent out a pulse. Not a weapon, just a wave of soundless data, and the alien ships felt it. Deep in their systems, in their walls, like a cold wind passing through steel. Some alien captains panicked, some screamed orders, others backed their ships away slowly, unsure of what to do, but it was already too late to run. The mothership moved with impossible calm, its engines silent, its weapons offline. But even then, it was terrifying, because it didn't need to speak or fire to be feared. Its size alone was enough to break the spirit of soldiers who had never known fear before today. Back on the alien flagship, the commander gritted his teeth. This is their true weapon, he whispered. They let us believe they were weak. They let us laugh. While this monster waited, he turned to his weapons officer. Lock cannons on the mothership. Fire everything. Now. The alien fleet responded quickly, as fast as they could. Hundreds of plasma beams and missiles launched into the void, rushing toward the mothership with deadly light. But nothing hit. Half of the projectiles vanished mid-flight. Intercepted by invisible defenses, the rest exploded before touching the hull, taken out by tiny drones, each no larger than a fist, but programmed for one purpose: to protect the heart of humanity's fleet. The mothership didn't move, didn't blink, didn't return fire. She just kept coming. Inside her, thousands of soldiers stood ready, pilots at their controls, engineers monitoring systems, gunners watching targets, but none had to act yet. The very presence of the ship was winning the battle without a single shot. Admiral Kane stepped forward and gave his first real order since the mothership arrived. All units prepare formation Gamma. We push forward. The human fleet moved as one, fueled by new courage. They surrounded the mothership like loyal wolves around their alpha. Every ship now a part of something greater. Every soldier now ready to show the galaxy what humanity was made of. The alien commander watched as his fleet fell into chaos. Discipline broken. Formation shattered. He tried to speak, but no one listened. Fear had already spread through every corner of his command, and in that moment he realized the truth. The humans were never trying to win with their small ships. They were distracting, surviving, holding back, while the real weapon slowly made its way across space. They had fought with fire, but now they were bringing the storm. The mothership opened its weapon bays slowly, silently, and the battlefield shivered under its gaze. Not a single shot fired yet, but the war was already changing, because now the aliens weren't mocking. They weren't laughing. They weren't talking at all. They were watching, waiting, and fearing what would come next. And the humans, the inferior ones, finally had the sky on their side. The silence was no longer peaceful, it was sharp, heavy, and filled with fear. The alien fleet, once the pride of the stars, now floated in scattered pieces, their perfect formation broken like glass, their captains whispering instead of shouting, their confidence crushed under the shadow of the mothership. No one fired, no one moved, the battlefield had frozen. The mothership hovered in the center like a god of war, silent, glowing, and unstoppable. The blue lights along its surface pulsed slowly, like a calm heartbeat, but everyone watching knew it was the calm before something terrifying. Inside the alien flagship, the commander stood frozen, staring at the massive ship on his screen. "It hasn't fired yet," he said softly, his voice shaking. One of his officers nodded nervously. "They don't need to fire, just look at it, Commander. It's bigger than our entire fleet. It's built for domination." The commander slammed his fist on the console. "We are not cowards, we do not run, ready all weapons. Target their lead ships, ignore the mothership for now." Outside, the alien fleet began to move again, shakily, nervously, but trying to regain control. Their ships turned toward the smaller human vessels surrounding the mothership, hoping to destroy the formation. Hoping to break the circle, Admiral Kane watched them move. Standing calm inside his command deck, he leaned forward, eyes locked on the screen. "They're testing us," he said. "They still don't understand what they're facing." He turned to his second officer. "Begin response strike, limited fire, make it clean. and remind them who controls this battlefield now. All at once, the human fleet lit up. Precision beams fired from small cruisers and stealth ships, striking alien engines, weapons, and power cores. No wild shooting, no wasted blasts, every shot hit perfectly, and every explosion told a message. We're not afraid of you anymore. Alien ships burst into fireballs. Spinning through space, communications were cut. Captains screamed for backup that never came, and slowly fear turned into chaos back on the alien bridge. The commander growled. What are they doing? Why don't they go after the mothership? Why strike like this? Another officer shouted. They're peeling us apart, sir, like hunters, taking the weak ships one by one. Then we hit the mothership directly, the commander roared. Gather our heavy cannons, load the fusion cores. All power to main weapons. His flagship's giant turrets rotated, glowing with deep red energy, targeting the heart of the human fleet. On the human side, Admiral Kane saw the shift. He watched as the enemy prepared to fire everything they had at the mothership. It's time, he whispered, turning to his weapons officer. Activate Guardian protocols, raise shield wall 1, and open the mothership's eyes. In the next moment, the battlefield lit with a new kind of light. The mothership's underbelly opened slowly, revealing rows of weapon bays, drone hatches, and defense rings. It wasn't angry, it wasn't loud, it was methodical, like a machine waking up after a long sleep. Thousands of small defense drones poured out like sparks from a fire, surrounding the ship in perfect formation, rotating in patterns too fast for alien targeting systems to follow. The alien flagship fired, a massive beam of red light cutting across space, hot enough to melt moons, powerful enough to erase anything in its path. It screamed toward the mothership with unstoppable fury, and it disappeared. The beam hit the mothership's shields and vanished. No explosion, no shake, not even a sound. The energy dissolved like it had never existed. Gasps echoed across alien ships. Officers stared at their screens in disbelief. The commander froze, eyes wide. What kind of shield is that? He whispered. No one answered. Then the mothership responded, not with rage, but with precision. One of its weapon bays turned toward the alien flagship and fired a single, silent beam. It was not fast, not flashy, just clean. It hit the side of the alien flagship and cut through it like paper. The ship tilted, systems died, and the bridge went dark. The commander was thrown to the ground. Alarms screamed as oxygen levels dropped. The flagship began to fall back, half dead, still alive, but bleeding badly. The rest of the alien fleet watched in horror, their strongest ship nearly destroyed by a single shot, their leader silenced in moments. Across the human fleet, cheers echoed in radio channels. Pilots slammed their fists in joy. Engineers cried with relief, but Admiral Kane remained calm. His voice steady. Do not break formation. The battle is not over. Push forward slowly. Drive them out of the field. The alien fleet began to retreat, some in panic, some still trying to regroup, but none with the strength they had at the start. The mothership floated behind the human fleet, its shields still glowing, its weapons still warm. It had made its statement. On a distant alien ship, one young officer whispered to his captain, "They were never inferior, were they?" The captain shook his head, eyes locked on the mothership. "No, they were just quiet. And we didn't listen." The humans advanced, steady and strong. The battlefield was theirs now. But the war was not over yet. In the cold darkness beyond the stars, other alien empires were watching, and the mothership's shadow was growing longer. The legend of humanity was being written with fire and silence, and the next chapter was just beginning. The battlefield was no longer a war zone, it was a graveyard. Shattered metal and broken ships drifted through space like dead leaves in the wind. The stars above watched in silence, as if they too were stunned by what they had seen. The alien fleet had been powerful, proud and perfect in every way. Now it was torn, scattered, and terrified. They had mocked the humans. They had called them insects, fools, weaklings. But now they were running, hiding, and praying that they wouldn't be the next to vanish under the fire of the human mothership. Inside the command deck of the human flagship, Admiral Kane stood with his hands behind his back, his voice calm and cold. "Status," one of his officers replied. "Enemy fleet is down by 70%. Scattered units attempting retreat, others regrouping behind debris fields, but no sign of unified command." Kane nodded. "And the mothership?" "All systems green, weapons standing by. Shields at 95%, Guardian drones still sweeping the perimeter." Kane walked forward, eyes locked on the fading enemy ships. They haven't surrendered yet, he said, which means they still think they have a chance. Far across the battlefield, inside a damaged alien cruiser, the remaining fleet commanders gathered over emergency transmissions, their faces marked with fear and frustration. The humans have broken our ranks, one said. The mothership is untouchable. Every attempt to attack is met with perfect defense, another hissed. We cannot retreat without losing honor, but we cannot win either. The highest ranking among them, a battle-scarred veteran named Commander Zier, growled, Then we do not retreat, we do not surrender. We make our final stand, and if we fall, one whispered, then let the galaxy remember that we faced the storm without turning our backs. The alien fleet began to regroup, forming a jagged crescent around the debris field, using it as cover, loading their final energy cores into their most powerful weapons. They had only one chance, to break through the human formation and destroy the mothership directly. It was suicide, and they knew it, but it was all they had left. Back in the human fleet, signals were intercepted. Enemy chatter growing frantic, desperate, but focused. Kane knew what they were planning before they even began. They're coming for the mothership, he said. One of his captains replied, A last strike? Yes, Kane answered, a desperate one. They want to be remembered as warriors, not cowards. We'll honor that. By ending it properly, he turned to his officers. Prepare full defense protocols. Give every ship clearance to engage, but no one breaks formation. The mothership stays shielded at all costs. Across the human fleet, engines roared to life. Weapons turned, shields strengthened, and drones began moving into new formations. Covering every possible angle, the sky lit up again. Not with laughter this time, but with rage. Alien warships surged forward, their weapons firing with everything they had left. Huge energy blasts tore through space. Debris fields exploded as ships powered through. Human vessels returned fire, calm and deadly, targeting engines. Weapon bays, command decks, no waste, no panic, just perfect war. The final stand had begun. One alien ship broke through the outer defense, a massive destroyer heading straight for the mothership. Fire trailing from its damaged sides, its crew screaming war songs. They launched a supercharged torpedo, glowing red like a dying star. Before it could reach its target, a human interceptor flew straight into its path, sacrificing itself. The explosion lit the void. The mothership didn't even flinch. The human fleet tightened its circle, closing in, turning the battlefield into a trap. More alien ships tried to break through. Some made it closer than others, but none reached the mothership. For every step they took, the humans pushed harder, striking faster, moving sharper. They were no longer defending. They were finishing what had begun. Commander Zier's ship was the last one to charge, its hull torn open, fire raging inside. But he didn't stop. He screamed as he gave the order, "Ram the mothership." But before he could reach halfway, a beam from the mothership sliced through his ship like a knife through paper. And just like that, the final threat was gone. The battle was over. Human ships floated quietly, engines cooling, weapons powering down. Silence returned, but this time, it belonged to them inside the command deck. Admiral Kane finally took a deep breath. Report. Enemy fleet eliminated, no active threats. Battlefield secure, came the reply. He looked around at his crew, some exhausted, some teary-eyed, all standing. We did what they said was impossible, he said, his voice low but strong. We held the line, and we brought the storm across the galaxy. Signals raced from satellite to satellite, carrying the message far and wide. The humans had won. The same humans who were called primitive, weak, and unworthy had defeated one of the most feared fleets in the known universe. Not with numbers, not with size, but with strategy, patience, and something no scanner could measure: willpower. In distant worlds, alien leaders watched in silence, their advisors whispering nervously, because if Earth had one mothership, who's to say how many more were hidden behind the stars? The legend of humanity had begun, written in fire, sealed in silence, and carried on the wings of a fleet that would never be mocked again. But the story wasn't finished, not yet, because something greater had awakened in the heart of humanity, something that could not be stopped, only witnessed, and those who had once laughed would now listen. The battlefield drifted in silence, broken only by the flicker of dying flames and the hum of distant engines. Where once the alien fleet had left, only floating wreckage remained. Ships split in half, twisted metal spinning slowly through the void, pieces of a once proud armada now reduced to dust and memory. The stars above were the same, cold and watching. But the war below had changed everything. The human fleet held its position, surrounding the massive mothership like a wall of steel, their weapons powered down, their formation tight and proud. The last alien signal had gone silent, not with surrender, but with defeat. Inside the command deck of the mothership, Admiral Kane stood alone near the viewing platform. His officers behind him waiting for orders, but for now, the Admiral said nothing. He simply looked out into space, at what remained of the enemy who had mocked them. "They called us weak," he said quietly. "They called us insects, forgettable, breakable." No one replied. They didn't need to, because the silence out there answered everything. Another officer stepped forward. "Sir, cleanup crews are moving in. Salvage units are collecting enemy tech. Wounded ships requesting dock access, and Allied channels are lighting up." Kane turned slightly. "Allied?" "Yes, sir." The officer nodded. "Other species, neutral observers, even some who supported the enemy. They're all sending the same message." Kane raised an eyebrow. "Which is?" "They want to talk." The Admiral let out a slow breath. "Now they believe we're worth listening to." Elsewhere, far from the center of the fight, cameras and listening devices hidden across the galaxy broadcasted the battle's end. Alien worlds watched in silence. Military leaders paused, their advisors pale. Empires that once ignored Earth now stared at their screens in disbelief. It hadn't just been a victory, it had been a message. The mothership was no longer a rumor, no longer a myth. It was real, and it had changed the rules. In one shadowy council hall on a distant world, an alien general muttered, "If that's what humans bring when they're provoked, what happens if they prepare?" Back near Earth's fleet, inside one of the damaged human ships, a young pilot sat in silence, her hand still shaking from the final push. The sound of victory hadn't sunk in yet. Not fully. She looked out her cracked viewport, eyes fixed on the mothership, still glowing, still silent. "We survived," she whispered. "We actually survived." Her co-pilot gave a broken laugh. "No, we didn't just survive," he said. "We won. We showed them." But the truth was even deeper, because this war had not just proven that humans could fight. It had shown that humans could endure, that even under fire, even when mocked, even when outnumbered and outgunned, they could still rise, still stand and still win, and the galaxy would never forget it. Inside the mothership, deep within the command chamber, the core systems pulsed with new energy. Lights flickered across the walls as data streamed in from every human ship in the field. Repairs were already underway. Wounded were being treated. Names of the fallen were being collected. Admiral Kane stepped back from the viewport, turned to his officers and said, "Broadcast the final signal." A technician nodded and opened the channel. Kane stepped forward, his voice clear, strong, and heard across every corner of the battlefield. "This is Admiral Kane of the Earth Defense Fleet," he said. "We declare this engagement concluded. The enemy fleet is no longer a threat. Survivors will be treated with respect under the laws of war. Our mission was not revenge, it was survival." He paused, letting the silence carry the weight of his words. "We did not come here to conquer, or to destroy without reason. We came because we were called inferior. We were mocked, and we were challenged to prove our worth." Another pause. "And now we have," he ended the transmission, and across human ships, crews stood in silence. Some clapped, some wept, some simply stared into space, letting the truth sink in. They had made it. The battle was over, but something greater had begun, because now, Earth was no longer just a distant blue planet tucked in the corner of a spiral galaxy. It was now a name that meant something. It was power. It was strategy. It was defiance, and it was dangerous to underestimate. From now on, every alien leader, every general, every emperor would remember this day. They would remember the silence before the storm, the fire that followed, and the giant that rose from the shadows, the mothership. Back on the command deck, Kane turned to his crew. "Prepare coordinates for return," he said. "Bring the fleet home." "And what of the others watching us, sir?" someone asked. Kane looked out at the stars once more, his voice steady. "They'll be thinking, planning, watching, but they won't be laughing anymore." The engines of the human fleet lit the dark once more. The ships turned, formation still perfect. The mothership slowly shifted behind them. Silent as always, the battlefield behind them now quiet, now cold, now over. And as the fleet moved away, a message remained in their wake, carved not in words, but in the memory of fire, strategy, and unshakable resolve.